Welcome to the Morristown Unitarian Fellowship, our multi-generational, spiritually alive, radically inclusive, and justice-centered community. We're so glad you're here with us today. Our service this morning is grounded in the third of our 6 sources of Unitarian Universalism, which is wisdom from the world's religions, which inspires us in our ethical and our spiritual life. Specifically, we're exploring the wisdom found in Buddhism as we approach Nirvana Day, celebrated on February 8th or the 15th, depending upon where you live. I have a couple announcements to share with you. One is for members and one is for everyone. First, members, we will have a congregational meeting on the afternoon of February 28th, including the next steps for our property improvements and new bylaws. Hopefully, you've attended the meetings about the oval improvements, and now you have a chance to attend one of the bylaws review meetings that are coming up, including one today at 1 p.m. Second, I want to share a bit about our split collection. 50% of our offering will go to support the fellowship, and 50% will go to support the Morris area chapter of New Jersey Together. New Jersey Together is a growing, broad-based coalition in northern New Jersey, and we are one of the founding congregations of the Morris area chapter of this multi-faith, multi-issue, and non-partisan coalition of congregations, nonprofits, and neighborhood organizations. Our 3 current task forces are affordable housing, mental health, and criminal justice. If you aren't on the list and you want to know more, you can email morris@njtogether.org with your name and share that you're from the Morristown Unitarian Fellowship and you want to become involved. I'm so glad we're sharing the plate with New Jersey Together today. Let us open our service by affirming, it is good to be. It is good to be here. It is so good to be here together.
Good morning and welcome to our community. We'll open our service today by lighting a flaming chalice. We invite you to join us by lighting a candle or flaming chalice from your home too. We'll recite words our families often share while lighting this symbol of our faith.
Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
When I breathe in,
The Hermit and the Well by Thich Nhat Hanh. When I was a child, I lived in North Vietnam. One day, our school teacher told us that we were going on a trip to the top of a nearby mountain. He said that at the top of the mountain there lived a hermit, a man who lived alone and sat quietly, day and night, to become peaceful like the Buddha. I had never seen a hermit before. I was very excited. The day before the trip, we made food for a picnic. We cooked rice, rolled it into balls, and wrapped the balls in banana leaves. We prepared sesame seeds, peanuts, and salt to dip the rice in. The morning of our trip, we walked for a long time until we reached the foot of the mountain. My friends and I climbed as quickly as we could. We ran almost all the way to the mountain. There were many beautiful trees and rocks along the path, but I did not stop to look at them because I wanted to reach the top of the mountain. I ran past flowers and trees. I rushed past the bright blue sky. When my friends and I finally reached the top, we were very tired. We had drunk all our water on the way up and did not have a single drop left. We looked around for the hermit. We looked and looked. Then we saw his hut, made of bamboo and straw. Inside, we discovered a small cot and an altar made of bamboo, but no hermit. Where was he? Maybe he had heard us coming up the mountain and was hiding somewhere away from the noise. It was time to have lunch, but I wasn't hungry. I was too tired and disappointed. Maybe if I wandered into the forest, I could find the hermit. I left my friends and started climbing further up the mountain. I was very thirsty. As I walked deeper into the forest, I heard the sound of dripping water. It was like the sound of music being softly played. I started to climb in the direction of that lovely sound. Soon, I found a natural well. Big rocks of many colors surrounded a small pool. The water was so clear that I could see all the way to the bottom. I knelt down, scooped some water in my palms, and began to drink. The water tasted wonderfully sweet. You cannot imagine my happiness. It was delicious. I felt completely satisfied. I did not need or want anything at all. Even the desire to meet the hermit was gone. But I suddenly realized that I may have met the hermit. Maybe the hermit had transformed himself, and maybe he cared about me. This made me happy. I lay down on the ground next to the well and looked up at the sky. I saw the branch of a tree against the blue sky. I was very relaxed. Soon, I fell into a deep sleep. I don't know how long I slept. When I awoke, I didn't know where I was. Then I saw the branch of the tree against the sky, and the wonderful well. I remembered everything. It was growing dark, and it was time to go back to join my classmates. I said goodbye to the well and began to walk back down. As I walked out of the forest, a sentence formed in my heart. It was like a poem with only one line. I have tasted the best water in the world. My friends were glad to see me. They asked me where I'd been, but I had no desire to talk. I wanted to keep my story to myself for a moment. I sat down on the ground and ate my lunch quietly. The rice and the sesame seeds tasted so good. I felt calm, happy, and peaceful. That was many years ago that I climbed that mountain. Now I am an old man, but the image of the well and the sound of dripping water are still alive inside me. You too may have met your hermit. Maybe it was a rock, a tree, a star, or a beautiful sunset. The hermit is the Buddha inside of you.
Thich Nhat Hanh created a Pebble Meditation on a retreat with families to help children and adults learn how to meditate, how to return to their breath and their bodies, and how to connect with the world around them. Thich Nhat Hanh shares that the practice involves 4 pebbles and 4 images, which represent 4 qualities. The pebbles and images could represent qualities of the natural world, such as might be found in a flower, a mountain, water, and space. The pebbles and images could represent the qualities of true love, which he shares are love, compassion, joy, and inclusiveness. The pebbles and images could also represent loved ones that you would want to meditate on and send energy, such as a parent, a sibling, a friend, or a grandparent. For this practice, he invites us to draw 4 images with crayons, pencils, pens, whatever we might have at home, and using whatever paper we have. As we draw, we are invited to breathe in and out, enjoying our breath as we draw. Then we are encouraged to find 4 pebbles. You might find them on the beach or in your backyard or on a walk. And you could always use marbles or beans. This meditation practice can be done anywhere and with anyone. You begin by picking up the pebble and holding that quality and image in your mind and heart, and breathing in and breathing out 3 times, and then you place the pebble in its place over the image. Here is the meditation that Thich Nhat Hanh wrote for the flower, the mountain, water, and space. And I invite you into this practice with me. Breathing in, I see myself as a flower, a human flower. Breathing out, I am beautiful just as I am, and I feel very fresh. On the in-breath, flower. On the out-breath, fresh. Do that with me 2 more times. Think flower on the in-breath and fresh on the out-breath in silence. Breathing in, I see myself as a mountain. Breathing out, I feel solid. Nothing can move or distract me. In breath, mountain. Out breath, solid. 2 more times. Mountain, in, solid, out. Let us do that in silence. Breathing in, I see myself as still water, as calm, clear lake, in and all around me. Breathing out, I reflect things just as they are, inside and around me. In breath, still water. Out breath, reflecting. 2 more times. Breathing in, I see myself as the big blue sky with lots of space in and around me. Breathing out, I feel very free and at ease. In breath, space. Out breath, free. 2 more times. Thank you for sharing in this practice with me. You can read more details in Thich Nhat Hanh's book, A Handful of Quiet Happiness in 4 Pebbles.
Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark.
Oh, faith is the bird that feels the light, the bird that feels the light. the bird that feels
the light and
Faith is the bird.
sings when the dawn is
Faith is the
done.
bird, is the bird. Oh, faith is the bird that feels the light. It is the bird that sings when the dawn is dark. That sings when the dawn is still dark.
Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark.
Oh, faith is the bird that feels the light, the bird that feels the light, the bird that feels the light.
Nirvana can be said to be the ultimate goal, the ultimate destination of the path of Buddhism. As we come to know in the story of the Buddha himself, Nirvana takes two forms. The first occurs during a life, and the second upon death. The Buddha attained enlightenment or nirvana in this life while sitting and meditating under the Bodhi tree at the age of 35. Later, at the age of 80, he passed away into final nirvana, from which he would never be reborn. The holiday called Nirvana Day is a festival honoring the latter episode. Practicing Buddhists honor this time the Buddha passed away from the earth and reached the ultimate nirvana, escaping samsara, the cycles of birth, life, and death. However, it is important to see that the Buddha isn't totally gone. His disciples, his teachings called Dharma, and the communities of practice called Sanghas can all be said to contain a part of the Buddha. To know and to experience these is to know and experience the Buddha. Actually, the Buddha strongly discouraged speculating too much on the nature of nirvana. Instead, he stressed the need to continually strive to reach for it. He compared people who ask too many questions about nirvana to a man who is wounded by a poison arrow, who rather than pulling it out persists in asking irrelevant questions about the man who fired it. What is his name? What is his clan? How far away is he standing? And so forth. The Buddha may well have wanted to concentrate on the teaching that was knowable, rather than about the mystery of nirvana, especially the final nirvana, which none has come back to describe. I see a parallel with our tradition of Unitarian Universalism here. We are also more focused on describing a moral and spiritual path in this life than on agreeing about the particulars of the destination or the details of an afterlife, a heaven, or what comes next. What was important to the Buddha was to convey that path of transformation from clinging to suffering to the release into freedom, and from the endless cycles of birth and death to nirvana. It is the reaching for nirvana that the Buddha stressed. Nirvana is often compared to extinguishing a candle. This Sanskrit word can be translated into English as blowing out or quenching. The idea a candle being blown out can conjure up somewhat of a negative image in our minds, especially as Unitarian Universalists. We tend to think of the flame of the candle possessing very positive qualities and representing things like the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the radiance of love. Who would want to blow that out? It's important for us, though, to understand more about how fire was thought of at the time of the Buddha. There was an understanding that the fire, the flame, was not free. It seemed bound to a fuel like wood. When the fire went out, there wasn't a sense that it disappeared, but rather that it lay dormant somehow and was now unfettered and part of the larger universe. Quench is a term that invokes an end to thirst and an end to craving. It is as if the fire has finally been quenched and is now released from the suffering of clinging to a fuel that serves like a prison. In Buddhist thought, the flame represents the fires of greed, hatred, and ignorance that burn within us. When this triple fire is extinguished, the light has not gone out. It is now finally free. Rabindranath Tagore puts it well. Nirvana is not the blowing out of the candle. It is the extinguishing of the flame because day has come. Nirvana is about a process of transformation. It is about how the flame is changed without oxygen and fuel for combustion. This understanding is important because Buddhism seeks to counter our way of constantly imposing dualities. Nirvana is neither meant to reinforce what they call eternalism, the notion of an eternal and separate soul that continues on after we die, nor is nirvana about nihilism or annihilation, the notion that after we die, we become nothing. For today, I will make use of Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings on the three Dharma seals of impermanence, no self, and nirvana to shed some light on the path that the Buddha modeled and invites us to stretch for. The first teaching is about impermanence. Everything is impermanent. Everything changes. Nothing remains the same from one moment to the next. Although things change in every moment, they still can't be accurately described as the same or as different from what they were just a moment ago. We are often sad and experience suffering when things change, but change and impermanence are what allow for new possibilities. Thanks to impermanence, everything is possible, including life itself. Impermanence should also be understood in the light of interbeing. Thich Nhat Hanh describes it this way: because all things interbe or inter-are, they are constantly influencing each other. All of us can understand impermanence with our intellect, but this will not lead to freedom or enlightenment. We must practice looking deeply at the nature of impermanence and then gain insights about impermanence and take them into our being. Thich Nhat Hanh says, when somebody says something that makes you angry and you wish that they would go away, please look deeply with the eyes of impermanence. If they were gone, what would you really feel? Would you be happy or would you weep? Our suffering and the suffering we cause others comes from an illusion of permanence. When we know that one day we will lose everything and everyone, all our possessions, our power, our family, and even our life, then we can act out of that truth. This allows us to touch freedom, peace, and joy in the present moment, because we know it's the only moment we truly have. Impermanence is looking at reality from the point of view of time. The second teaching is about no self, which is looking at reality from the standpoint of space. They are two sides of reality. No self is a manifestation of impermanence, and impermanence is a manifestation of no self. If things are impermanent, they are without a separate self. Since nothing is unchanging, there can be no permanent or separate self. Everything is like that. Our body, our emotions, our perceptions, they are all impermanent. Our anger, our sadness, our love, our hatred, and our consciousness, all impermanent. Interbeing is the true state of reality. The flower, the water, and the sunshine are all connected. They inter-are. There is no separate self. Thich Nhat Hanh shares that our bodies are the same. There is no such thing as a separate existence. If you look deeply within, you will see that in your body is the body of your ancestors and the body of your descendants. The third teaching is about nirvana. Impermanence and no self are keys to open the door of reality. The teaching of impermanence helps us to correct our view of permanence. The teaching of no self helps us to correct our view of self. Impermanence and no self are keys to practice, but they aren't absolute truths. Our notions of what is true, especially dualities, cloud our thinking and cause us needless fear and suffering. Nirvana is the extinction of notions and ideas, including concepts of birth and death, being and non-being, coming and going. If we free ourselves from such dualities and from such notions, we can touch an inner peace and reveal our true nature. Meditation is a practice that allows us to let go of the notions that are obstacles to peace, equanimity, and happiness. If we have a notion, I can only be happy if, then we may miss all the other places that our happiness may come from. Even if we attain the if only, we will continue to crave more, attached to more if onlys. I will be happy if only I have that big house, can easily lead to the desire for an even bigger house. Just as a fire bound to a log isn't free, happiness bound to a particular outcome is limited and fleeting. Right now, happiness is available to us if we have the clarity to reach for it without setting limiting conditions. Happiness is being here in the present moment and not there in the future we cannot determine or in the past we cannot change or go back to. It is only available here in the constantly changing and deeply interconnected present reality of this moment in time and in space. Then, at each new moment, we practice letting go of the one before and embracing the one to arrive. Nirvana is about being mindful in every present moment. It is about extinguishing the notions that separate us from peace and joy, love and compassion in the present moment. Whether we are breathing or drinking tea, whether we are facing danger or rising to a challenge, it is about extinguishing all notions that separate us from the peace and joy within and the love and compassion of our true nature. Happy Nirvana Day, friends. Joy and peace are here. Love and compassion are available. Just look to the Buddha within. May you find him right there in your heart.
Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part I seek. Let me be part of the love. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part I seek. Let me be part of the love. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part I seek. Let me be part of the love you give.
Our closing words come from our hymnal, number 595, the Bodhisattva Vows. May all sentient beings be well and enjoy the root of happiness, free from suffering and the root of suffering. May they not be separated from the joy beyond sorrow. May they dwell in spacious equanimity, free from craving, fear, and ignorance.